Good morning, watch fans. This is Big Jim with the Big Wrist, coming to you from Las Vegas. Today we're going to talk about watch terms. I've been browsing the interwebs and watching live streams and reading comments from everybody, and I see a lot of newbies using the wrong terms when discussing watches and watch parts and straps and bracelets and whatnot. So I've made a list of what I think are the most common terms people either argue about or just get wrong and just get wrong out of just they just don't know. It's not a big deal. Everyone has to learn somewhere. So I think the first thing is what makes a budget watch. For most of us, a budget watch is something like this, sub $500. These are both under 500. This is 200 and this is about 400 new. You can get them both used for quite a bit less than that. These are definitely considered budget watches. They're quite nice. They're both pretty accurate when they're running. They're both wound down currently. I haven't worn either one in a couple of days. But they're excellent examples of budget watches. Most of us will agree sub $500 is a budget watch. And there are some people who think it's going to be as low as 100. I don't think so. I think a budget watch is less than $500, and most of us agree on that. So a little more controversial is what makes a luxury watch. For most people, the obvious luxury watch, of course, is Rolex. I mean, they start at $5,000 used for the newer ones, and $3,000 for the more obscure, lesser well-known ones. This is a Rolex OP39 in blue. It's a great watch. It's been around a while. Introduced, I think, 2 years ago. I'm fortunate enough to have one before they discontinued it, replaced it with the 41, which I also want. So definitely a luxury watch. But what else is a luxury watch? Do you think anything over $1,000 is a luxury watch? Most of us do not think that. There are specific brands that make up the market, and they are luxury watches. Plenty of watches that are lovely in the $1,000, $2,000 range that aren't truly luxury watches. They're just nice watches. I think to hit the luxury watch market, you have to be over $2,000. It's not really brand specific. To be over $1,000, this would qualify because this is the Casio Titanium GShock Black DLC. This is $1,700 retail, $1,500 street price. This is a great watch, but I don't believe it's a luxury watch. It's just a great watch. It's probably slightly overpriced, but it's still a great watch. It's over $1,000. Ball watches, most of them are in the $1,500 range. There's quite a few over that, but there's a lot of ball watches in the $1,500 range. I don't believe ball watch qualifies as a luxury watch. There's a lot of watches in that realm of $1,000. This doesn't offer anything spectacular, nothing amazing. Everyone agrees this is a luxury watch. And there are far nicer watches than this. You can get FP Journe, you can get JLC, you can just go crazy. Elanga, you can go just bananas with the price. Price is really not a limiting factor in luxury watches. You can spend a lot of money on luxury watches. So I believe $2,000 is the cutoff for luxury watches. That's where they start. Let's talk about NATO straps and Zulu straps. A lot of conversation about those recently. They're a great solution for people like me who have bigger wrists, people who want a more durable strap. They want to get rid of a leather strap. They want to put something on that just matches the watch, like this one. This blue and white matches the face and the font really well. So I put it on this. This is a Long Island watch, Pilot watch, the Islander Pilot. It's a great watch, very comfortable. And I just it came on a really good leather strap. Mark at Long Island Watch sourced a great strap. But the blue and white NATO is the way to go, in my opinion. So this is a true NATO. It has this back piece that you feed through, and that centers the watch. There are enough videos on YouTube talking about how to wear a NATO strap to sink a ship. I am not going to go there. I am just going to show you the basic NATO wear. It's that little buckle. It centers the watch. See how it centers the watch? Makes it look nice. It keeps it in place. Makes it fit beautifully. It does raise it up. There are just different ways to wear it to adjust that out. But this is the basic NATO strap wear. The other NATO style strap is the single pass Zulu strap. This isn't technically a Zulu strap, but it's the only strap I have that really would qualify as a single pass. This has built-in keepers because it's a Tudor strap, so it has little holes right there to put a spring bar through. But you don't have to use them. You can use them as a single pass if you want. So this would be qualify as a single pass a Zulu strap, and you just put it on, as you would a regular strap, pass it through, buckle it up, and it stays centered pretty well. It's nothing wrong with that strap. It's great. I like them. So NATO straps have that second buckle. Like I said, and just pass it through there and allows the watch to stay centered. And there are people who have entire web channels based on how to wear a NATO strap without that second pass. You can do this. You can pass it through like that. Strap it on. Once it's on, it lays flat. That piece is pinned down and the watch sits right there. And it's fine. Not a big deal. So NATOs and Zulus. That's the difference. Integrated bracelet. Integrated bracelet's a bracelet that wasn't really intended to come off the watch. This is the one I have on hand that's a great example. This is the titanium black. It has those 3 lugs in the back. It has screw connections to hold it in place. You really'd have a hard time getting that bracelet. You can get the bracelet off, I'm sure, but you'd have to cut a custom strap, to make it another bracelet fit. There is a few companies out there making NATO adapters for this particular watch. I don't see why you would. The strap on this thing, the bracelet, is unbelievable. The bracelet's the best thing that Casio ever did. But yeah, you could get the bracelet off and you could, put a NATO adapter on this thing. But integrated bracelets are really designed not to come off. Lug to lug versus lug width. Lug to lug is the length between the tips of the lugs where the spring bars go, right there. See that? Spring bars go right there. That's the tip, lug to lug, right there. So this thing's lug to lug is pretty good size. It's a Seiko Samurai. It's 48. If you were to measure it from the widest point, because it has a non-articulating center link, you would get something like 52 or something. Yeah, 52, 53. So, but that is lug to lug. The widest point from the 2 parts of the lug where the spring bars go. All right. Lug width is different. Lug width is how big of a strap it takes. This one takes, probably takes a 22, I'm guessing. It's a Seiko dive watch, and they're all 22s. Yeah, look at that, 22. So, the strap measures at 21.6, so it fits in a 22 with a little bit of leeway to go. So that is your lug width, is how big your strap is. 22 is really common. 20s are really common. Lug to lug is the single most important thing in a watch measurement. It'll show you just how big a watch sits on your wrist. I have a giant wrist, 8.5 inches. All right. This is a 48.5 at the lug and 52 at the center link, and it fits me fine. See how it fits right there? It kind of swoops down a little bit. It fits great. But on a smaller wrist, something smaller than 7 inches, this might be a problem. Those lugs might hang over the edge. So, the dial size is nice. It gives you an idea how something's going to wear. But the dial size on this is 44, I believe. Dial size is generally measured from the 2 to the 8. Typically, 44 on the money. See it? So, because the crown's in the way at the 3 and the 9 most of the time. So you measure from the 2 to the 8 right there across the face, and you get 44. So that gives you an idea of what the, crown, the face size is important. I get it. Dial size is very important. But lug to lug is a more accurate description of how it'll wear on your wrist. So, dive style watch versus dive watch. That's a pretty good one. This is an actual dive watch. This is a Seiko Samurai. It has a 200-meter water resistance. Famous as a dive watch in the dive community and among the watch owners. Seiko SKX 007 009. Seiko Samurai, Seiko Sumo. There's a whole bunch of them out there. They're all just fantastic dive watches. And Seiko unfortunately discontinued the SKX 007 and 009 and introduced a new line of Seiko 5s called the 5KX. And basically what they did was they made fashion watches without a screw-down crown. Gave them a minimal water resistance of 100 meters. So they dive style watches now. Here's a picture of one. Dive style watch, not a dive watch. The ratings are also vastly, confusing. 50 meters means splash resistant, not 50 meters of water. Is a waterproof watch. You can take it swimming. You can bang it around a little bit. It's a pretty good watch. Probably still not a real dive watch because 100 meters is a static measurement. When you move your hand in the water and swim and bump stuff and, do all those things that add friction and force to the water, 200 meters is where you need to be at a diver then. Again, no one's diving 200 meters. No one's taking the James Cameron down, except James Cameron, Rolex, down to 1,200 meters. They're just not doing it. But they're rated for that, which means the force of the water at that distance will not, at static pressures, will not cause the watch to leak. But no one is static when they're underwater. I dove at 30 feet. I dove at 10 to 15 meters for a couple of years, even a little deeper than that occasionally. And I free dove, has a skin diver quite a bit deeper than that. And I wore a GShock, good to 200 meters. I wore the basic, 1980s GShock. It's fine. I used the light underwater too, like you're not supposed to, but it never hurt the watch. So I dove quite a bit, and some watches just can't take the beating. They can't take the motion. So you get at 200 meters and you make it a decent brand name watch, not a fashion watch, a decent brand name watch, an actual diver, PADI certification, or this has the PADI. Look at that little X right there. That is the PADI certification, Professional Association of Dive Instructors. This is an actual dive watch. That little certification costs Seiko money. That's why they don't put it on every watch. It's expensive. So, legitimate dive watches will have some kind of certification on it. This is a 100-meter pilot watch, no certification. He tested at 100 meters. Mark is not a liar. He tested 100 meters, and then static at 100 meters. That's fine. I've taken this in 3 meters of water. I've taken it car wash and power washing and dishes and showering and lots of things with lots of motion and lots of water involved, water fights and whatnot with my child. And the watch is fine. The watch has got a screw-down crown. It's very tough. He put good seals in it. It's got a great Seiko movement in there. Nothing wrong with this watch whatsoever. But it's not a dive watch. But it is water resistant to 100 meters. So, it's a great watch, not a dive watch. Also, not a dive watch. This is the Rolex OP39. This is a watch you take underwater because it's got tons of lume. It's easy to see. It's big and bold, and you can set the bezel and it's not going to move, and you need that bezel to tell you when to come back, start decompressing and come back up so you don't drown. You may know exactly how much oxygen you have left, but you have to leave early because you have to stop every 5 meters and wait a specified period of time for your body to acclimate and then keep going so you don't have nitrogen bubbles in your bloodstream, and it'll kill you. It'll give you the worst case of headaches and bends you ever got. So and last but not least is faux. You're going to see faux patina, faux colors, faux this and faux that, and it's kind of a yellowing of the dial. None of my watches have that yellowing of the dial. They all have traditional white dials. But you can get watches with that little bit of yellow on the dial. The indices has been yellowed out, the numbers have been yellowed out, and it kind of makes it look like an older watch. And those are really popular with some major brand names like Tudor. I'm not a fan myself. So that's the faux. People don't know what faux means. It's spelled French, F-A-U-X, but it's pronounced faux. And it just means fake. So pretend. So that's my take on common misused watch terms. Hope you enjoyed my content. Please like, subscribe, tell a friend, and I will catch you on the next one.